my name is Andrea Flusci and I'm your Virginia traffic attorney. One question that people ask a lot is how pacing works for officers, and specifically, how long do they have to pace you? Well, first of all, we've talked about pacing before. Pacing is simply where the officer drives along behind your vehicle and watches his speedometer. And so he's looking to see if his speed, what speed his speedometer is going. The difficulty with pacing, in my opinion, is that they have to be watching the distance between your vehicle and theirs and keeping a steady gap so it's not increasing or collapsing. And then also they have to be watching their speedometer. And when we're talking about pacing, especially at high speeds on the interstate, even 70, we're talking 80 or 90 or 100 miles an hour, I think that's a pretty tough call for anyone to be able to drive safely and maintain a steady distance, keep their lane, watch other traffic, and be watching your specific speed on your speedometer. But putting that argument aside, the issue is how long they have to pace you. Unfortunately, there's no set number. Pacing is something that each officer kind of does on their own, and there's no set number by law that they have to, follow you for a certain distance, like a half a mile, for example. I've seen pace cases that have been over, like 50 yards before, where a judge has upheld that that's a good pace. Typically on the interstate, when you're talking about state troopers in Virginia, what I commonly run into is that the troopers typically try to get 3/10 of a mile, around that number. So that gives a steady distance where they can say, yes, I got a good pace. Sometimes the officers will say they didn't get a good pace. They think that it was at least 90 miles an hour and their speedometer was fluctuating. Unfortunately, judges a lot of times will let that kind of stuff into evidence based on that kind of fluctuating needle on the speedometer, as long as the officer can say that the needle didn't go below that. So that way you should get the benefit of the doubt in those cases. So pacing is accepted, and unfortunately, there's no set distance of how long they need to pace you. But if you're pulled over by pace in Virginia, you definitely need to contact me so we can see if there's any defense that you may have, such as the speedometer calibration, or whether or not the officer did get a good and steady pace of your vehicle.